I like about this too, Chris, and you, it's like we need builders, right? We need people who are valuable in that specific asset, specific space, and build like valuable products that you're doing. And I think there's so much to say on that. One of the biggest things you pointed out is the fact that especially with Bitcoin, you can communicate with other blockchains, you can communicate with Web two, and there's this idea that AI exists, it should exist on Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you see yourself? Where you see yourself like building that space specifically, and like what specific projects do you think might emerge as a result of that?
Well, I don't think ChatGPT's APIs are coming down anytime soon. So I think you could build auto GPTs that work with Bitcoin. This is something we're looking at as well. We are very experienced with ChatGPT APIs and other AI APIs that, I mean, trust me, the team's very experienced in this stuff. But again, not something we're focused on immediately. And AI is kind of a misnomer, At the end of the day, I'm really more interested in using AI on a blockchain like Solana that has a 65,000 TPS with a 1/20,000th of a penny transaction cost. Like, much more interested in AI building network infrastructure and neural networks or things like that. And any of that data that is compiled or created or transcended through, whatever miracle the AI, I don't even know what we expect from AI, right? But whatever fucking happens, you can copy paste that data over to Bitcoin for permanence. So like, you don't need to abuse and use Bitcoin. Matter of fact, I try really hard not to. And I do like that some of these newer inscriptions are a lot lighter than the heavy inscriptions of the images that used to exist for the ordinals, because I thought of that as like blockchain pollution. Another reason I was really into bitmaps is it's a very small file, right? It's not really bloating the network. I am like I'll shoot you over Bitcoin. Like at the end of the day, like I would just if everything was really bad and the network was really fucked up and miners wanted to vote to prune out all of that bad data to save Bitcoin, I'd be on the side of the miners. I wouldn't be on the side of the ordinal maxis. Bitcoin is your future if you're here, right? Like that is your future, motherfucker. So Bitcoin, same concept. When it gets to the point where the health of the network cannot sustain, but when you have interests like this on Bitcoin, you have builders, and builders create solutions, and that's what we're seeing here. And it's not always going to be a layer 2 solution that you want to run to, but you do have to come to terms with there is no changing Bitcoin core, and there is no scaling Bitcoin core over a fast enough time frame to make the onboarding process easier. But there are plenty of bridges, and there are plenty of other options, and there are plenty of interfacing blockchains that work with Bitcoin, such as ETH and Solana. So those can be leveraged as backends to perform function. Hashgraph is another one. So, to me, it's just very interesting that people don't understand the technical marvel that Bitcoin is. And it doesn't mean they don't believe in it or that they're stupid. I just don't think people understand that, like, yes, you can program on Bitcoin and do things on Bitcoin, or you could create Bitcoin as this way to like talk to all these other things and use the scalability of other products to bring more value to Bitcoin. That's the side of the road I'm on. Like, people are trying to bring things to Bitcoin to show how cool it is and interest users, but they're not like doing anything to actually bring much scalability other than some of the recursive stuff makes it to where you can create more ordinals with less weight, which doesn't create scalability, but it creates less waste and it's less harmful to the blockchain, right? So it's better. They're like, it's like everyone's moving to electric cars. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Oh yeah.
But then that authenticity is still based on libraries existing and da 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 da. So like for me, I feel like what we're doing is kind of like very much the same level of importance, because we're bringing outside utility we're like bringing outside sources, outside users, outside utility to Bitcoin in a way where we say, look how incredibly fun this is and look how cool this is. I bet you didn't know Bitcoin could do this. And I'm sure that's what other people, that's like what other people 100%. Are doing with recursions. But like, again, most people haven't even seen a real Web3 game work, let alone from Bitcoin. But wait, there's also users from this blockchain to this blockchain. Wait a minute. So Bitcoin is basically the same in this moment? Yes, we're bringing Bitcoin onto an even playing field with the other blockchains as a verification layer for assets in games. Last thing I'll say, because I know I fucking am long-winded and I cuss a lot. I apologize.
No,
But
you're fine, no worries.
the last thing I'll say is like, Web3 games.
Mhm.
I mean, I know people are going to tell you what they want to tell you in the moment to sell you their ideal or their narrative. But go back 2 years in your mind. A Web3 game is supposed to give you ownership of the efforts and time or assets earned inside of a game in a way wherein the game creator does not dictate the outcome of what is happening with your account or those assets, but instead the market does. So World of Warcraft, as an example, every piece of gear, every piece of gold needs to be an asset on chain that is tradable with another user outside of the game. In-game economies need to be brought out of the game, and secondary markets need to exist so that players can use their time to get something back. Because right now, when you play me, as an example, Diablo 4,
Nice.
I'm getting nothing for that, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot, but there's nothing there for me. So after a very short period of time, that game loop, the endorphins run out because there's no incentive long term. And at the end of all of this, I know that when this season expires in October, come November, I got to start all over for the next season, right?
Yeah.
In Web3 games, we want to transcend that concept that the time sink and the money sink can actually come back to you for being dedicated, just like for 6 years, World of Warcraft, Hero, World of Logs, top 10% in the world in World of Warcraft as the absolute worst healing class, which is Resto Shaman. And I did that because I wanted to prove to people that you could break in the top in the world as the worst healing class against the most OP healing classes by just being better, smarter, faster, more thoughtful. So at a lot of times, I was the number one Thrall as the largest Horde PvE server. I was number one Resto Shaman on Thrall many times, or I was number two. Like me and this one guy just always back and forth. Nice. It was top tier, top geared. So after 6 years of that, holy shit, it's a distant memory that provides me no pride. It's an experience point that I can call upon to say, this is why I'm fit for this, what I'm doing now. But brother, I lost 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I got nothing back. And if I did sell that account to somebody, it would be a violation of the terms of service. So if they got caught or ever suspiciously using the account, which you can't change the email on, so then you have to give up an email. So it's like there's just so much crazy shit when it comes to selling an account and how that sale is not guaranteed to be permanent, and that user who bought that from you, that game could shut that account off for violation of terms of service, just like that. And then when you start thinking about the monthly subscription to World of Warcraft, and you find out, holy shit, I'm renting this. I'm renting my character. I'm renting my time. I'm basically paying them to rent all of this that I feel like is mine, that I feel like I've earned, that I feel like my time has created this incredible hero in this world of Azeroth. Bro, that was what a bullshit fantasy. So our whole point here is to build things that reward your time and effort. And wherever we can create that fun and we can extend that utility of in-game economy is brought out of the game, we want to. But we're only going to build for people at this point, because it's a bear market, who care about technology. And we're only going to build on blockchains that we believe in. So until ordinals existed and the Bitmap guys made me excited, I only built on one blockchain because I only believe in one blockchain scalability. Well, I believe in Bitcoin's interoperability and its permanence. So now what's happened is I've been given the best two things. In short, what makes IMSO better is because our experience, the most experience, our two areas of expertise are how interoperable Bitcoin is and how composable and scalable Solana is. The number one most scalable, most composable blockchain to ever exist, which completely outperforms and shits on every other layer one's blockchain's scalability, with the third most decentralized network behind ETH and Bitcoin. Solana is the third on the Nakamoto coefficient for toughness. Okay. Mm-hmm. We are experts in Solana and we are experts in Bitcoin, from how it works, what the chain's purpose is, its origination, the chart, historical relevance. I was here when Craig Wright was in court being called Satoshi Nakamoto. I was here when Roger Ver forked Bitcoin Cash. Like, I watched BSV and BCH and XRP and lots of stuff come into existence around that late 2013, early 2014 time when I came into the space, right? And so, like, for me, I am actually a seasoned, I guess expert's the wrong way, but you like, we are the most experienced on the two most powerful blockchains that have ever graced the space. The OG, the daddy, the king, the dictator of all in the market and all that shall be. And then the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Gold, fucking 7 rings. Fuck you, Ethereum. We shit on you. You know, every single block, dude, crazy. Total accident. Was not on purpose. Wasn't even going to build a game. Was talking shit more than anything. But Solana was such a technical marvel to me that I was like, I mean, these people probably would like to learn about this. You know, I'm thinking about my community, like they might want to actually get involved in NFTs and probably Solana NFTs, and maybe they would find this. Okay, let's do it. You know, it's always been about like showing them a new side or new perspective, and then like learning as a unit to like try and provide some value. So like most of the people in my ecosystem, the value isn't in buying and selling the NFT. That's not where the value is. The value is in owning the NFT and being part of the community and listening and talking with me regularly. And then us just randomly going and building Bitmap Valley and creating an ordinal called Immortals that's going to get dropped to anyone with X amount of chimps. And those Immortals are going to be new models with new avatars that are a new collection that offer new utilities and new perks on Bitcoin. And you get it because you were part of the Solana thing, or you get this airdrop to this thing or this. You know, we are superior when it comes to providing concepts or utility concepts or frameworks or whatever it might be to like our holders, but it's all in an attempt to try and find their interests and find out where they're like where their boundaries are for like accepting new technology or participating in a complex, like maybe it's like our loot box system's kind of complex. So it's been put on the back burner until there's maybe a larger user base to make a little more sense, but we haven't forgotten about the people who have loot boxes. Like, so there's like pieces of my ecosystem, and like we're going to offer breeding soon where you can breed new 3D avatars, but that's really only possible on Solana. However, because of how Solana works, there can be like in-game triggers that place a token inside of a Bitcoin wallet. Like, there's a lot of stuff we can do inside the video game where the video game becomes the smart contract that basically is input output from these different chains. And instead of needing some sort of layer zero solution, we can use video games to be that middleman. And then if we like use the same avatars and the same API across all these different games, then wouldn't that mean that like no matter what game you were interacting with or what game you were joining or participating in, your wallet and your assets would all still be relevant there. So now all of a sudden, all of the avatars and all of the perks are not just sellable on the secondary market, brother, they're transferable into other game environments.
And that's incredible.
It's absolutely, it's absolutely incredible that you walk into Bitmap Valley and you're playing as an avatar, and then you join the Endless Runner, and you can use the exact same avatar in the Endless Runner that you're using in Bitmap Valley, and you're playing the Endless Runner from Bitmap Valley. And you're like, hold the fuck on. What the fuck is happening right now? I know. It's absolutely a technical marvel. And so what we're hoping is that more and more people will be able to see this, because the visual representation of the Bitmap metaverse will really help them conceive how much grander our ideology is than the guy who's, building on Bitmap to try and. I think there's a lot of good builders out there, but there's a couple who are like, there's one in particular that basically we tried to be friendly with, and they're trying to copycat us, and they're not even close to the same level of developers. Like, not even close. It's not even a fully interactive world. Not even close, dude. But it's because they're thinking in a very linear path. Like, how do we bring in as many bitmap holders to our world as possible and find a way to monetize through tokens, etc. I'm thinking, how do I bring as many users from the other chains and other games to Bitmap? And how do I bring all the Bitmap holders access to these other games that provide rewards and pay people for winning? I need to give utility to both sides. I need to bring some of these motherfuckers to Bitcoin and show them how goddamn cool this shit is. And I need to give these Bitcoin MFers an opportunity to make money off of their time and their efforts. Okay, it's not my time and my efforts. It's your time and your efforts. If you're lazy, if you're waiting for a handout, if your only intention is, let me get in so I can flip this, you're going to lose. Probably going to make a little bit of money, a little bit of profit, but in the long run, you're going to have like a hurt stomach, puking, because you're going to be like, fuck, I really fucked this up. Yeah, I know. That's the point here, is to like make everyone feel regret and remorse, except for the people who
were on it early,
who were right there with me saying, fuck you.
Exactly. And I've seen 8-Bits, Jimmy's streams on Kick, and he's shown like Bitmap Valley, how it looks like. It looks really impressive. Everything about it looks amazing. I know we're approaching the 1 hour mark, so like I wanted to get your last second thoughts on this. Like, what's the vision? Where do you see yourself building in Bitmap, the entire trajectory, and kind of like the overall atmosphere environment?
Well, as it stands right now, the generator, which we are going to be on Block Runner tomorrow, and we're going to show this off a little more. As it stands right now, we can create all the blocks that currently exist as 3D worlds inside of Bitmap Valley. But our intent is to do 1,000 at first. And then basically, and this is alpha that I was going to share tomorrow, but I'll just share it here too real quickly. So basically what we think we can do is that with the 1,000 plots that currently exist, we didn't really want to extend it past 1,000 plots, but we thought, to raise more funds over time, we probably will want to branch it out more than 1,000 plots. So then what if the first 1,000 plots that are purchased for wave 1 and wave 2, which we've got like 350 left, what if there was a kickback for every sale that happened after 1,000 to the first 1,000 owners? Then we could scale infinitely up to max blocks and not really inhibit our ability to bring on more people. And if you were like, well, then that fucks me out of selling parcels, don't worry, sir. What if like 50% went to us and 50% went to all of you? What about that? Because if there's only 1,000 of you and there's 805,000 blocks, if we were to sell 9,000 blocks even to get to 10,000, holy shit, all of you would be in plenty profit, plus have your Bitmap Valley space, your ordinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could turn this into something way greater. This is how real estate works in the real life, right? So how do we bring that here? And you can't just tell everyone all this at once, right? You start with a simple city concept and you make them interested and you see what their reaction is. Then you add a couple instances and a little bit of interaction and you gauge their feedback and see if they find it interesting. Then you start pitching concepts to them, like mini game concepts or arcade, and you build those instances out. Then you go residence, you start talking about parceling, you see how many likes it gets and how interested people are in that. And then you start saying, okay, I know what the first 1,000 expect, and I know how to deliver the value based on what they've spent, which is approximately $150 or less each person is what the total will be, right? And we've only, we still have like 350 or 400 to go. But basically, let's build them what they deem worth their investment, and then let's use them to create an even greater outcome, not just for ourselves, but for them, since they essentially built it. And so, like, I kind of getting in the weeds because I don't want to say anything that's like illegal, right? Or
Yeah,
be
yeah.
misconstrued as a like an empty promise.
Mhm.
But like for me, it's very much show them a little, gauge interest, show them more, gauge interest. And now that we've shown off 5 or 6 concepts and we've been given back that interest and we've had some feedback on the generator and the avatar system and the other games, we know exactly what comes next. And it's going to be, well, assuming everyone continues to stay interested, it's going to be a lot bigger than I ever planned.
Mhm.
I didn't, I'm not going to lie. Some of the things that we've realized we can do here, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like this doesn't like I'm a little overwhelmed with, I mean, dude, we can generate any block right now just by typing in its number in the form of a city in which all avatars work and it's multiplayer enabled, voice chat, video chat immediately. I mean, as soon as we type in the number, it
That's
generates the
incredible.
city. You can jump in, share it with people via link and voice and video chat inside any block, and it looks like a city. Dude, it's crazy. And I'm going to show some of that off tomorrow.
Mhm.
And then it's the last I'm going to show until it's finished, because I showed the alpha on Shizzy's podcast the other day, or the concept on Shizzy's podcast.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'm going to show the alpha on Block Runner. And then in a week or so, we'll show the more finalized outcome.
Mhm.
And then I think when people start generating their bitmap addresses as lands, it's going to probably up our sales. Little more alpha. We're about to build Ordinal's wallet marketplace into Bitmap Valley because Magic Eden, the APIs are, we're working on that. They have restricted API calls. So like they limit your calls.
Mhm.
So we're trying to work in with their company to get whitelisted for API or to get us. I know some of them, it's not too crazy to ask, but like the people that I know are like they're upper management, but they're not like head management. So they're like right below the guys that would be able to make these types of decisions.
Yeah.
So as we continue to build out Bitmap Valley, we're hoping to get better integration with, Magic Eden, but with Ordinal's wallet marketplace, we can actually have like a dedicated space too on their website where you guys who have bitmaps that are attached to Bitmap Valley, you guys could have a totally different listing section so that people know that these are bitmaps with, utility attached to them. And these are bitmaps that are not attached to any utility. And so for us, this is going to be, dude. And then we can turn each building into a parcel inscription, and you can sell that parcel to somebody so that they can just have a piece of real estate inside of your district instead of having to buy their own district. And the different instances that we've shown, will be available to people by default, except for the residences, and those will all be custom. And we have a new version of Bitmap Valley, not that is being put into a new engine, to where like we could sell you parcels inside of Bitmap Valley Square, or you could sell someone parcels inside of your square directly. And that parcel that they purchase from you, they go in and now they customize it using a customizer tool that we built. So you basically are just giving them the building, nothing else. You don't have to give them anything else. You just give them the building. They pay you for the inscription that, gates access to the door of that building. And now that building is theirs and you can no longer control it. You can't remove the door. You can't change anything inside of it. Whatever they do inside of your district, you no longer have control over that one building and what is inside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you can warn motherfuckers that come to your district not to go in there. But this is the idea, is like, okay, how do we act as real estate initially? And then how do we give you the ability to produce real estate? And then if we need to expand or inflate the real estate, how do we ensure that you are cool with that? And then how do we bring users from the other chains to marvel at the beauty of Bitcoin? And how do we provide utility to Bitcoin holders to give them something for their time and their effort? Dude, you should clip that. You should probably clip that last.
I'm very much
that last 30 seconds, dude. That last 30 seconds was banger. So
that's the alpha right there. Thanks so much for doing this this kind of like like what we call podcast interview here with me. I really appreciate the alpha. Amazing stuff.
Thank you for being so patient. You can tell the audience that I fucked up like 3 different opportunities for us to do this, and you've been patiently waiting for me, and you've been so kind, and I appreciate it, buddy. Really, seriously.
No, bro, absolutely. Like people like you, we need people like you, right? Not just like Bitcoin, but in this road, right? People who are just passionate, who just care and compassion, all this stuff. It's very much needed, and I really, really appreciate this.
All righty,
let's do it. Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much. I appreciate this, and we'll definitely talk soon. And have a great night.
Awesome, brother. Take care.
You too.
See ya.
All right, see you, bro.